the only one here, and you live through reflections. Assume how you choose to be. If you live in connections, your thoughts arise. What you think becomes the real. Look past the trigger and see the true you reveal. There is only you. You are the center of everything. What you assume is who you are. Holy to perfection, release the gatekeepers. Watch your inner voice go within. Refine the reflection. Yeah, refine the reflection. Separation is an illusion. Nothing is ever random. Revise the unpreferred. The heart and mind's in tandem. Let the inner voice be your maker. Sculpting wishes fulfilled. Assume who you wish to be. Shape yourself with your true will. There is only you. You are the center of everything. What you assume is who you are. Calling to perfection, release the gatekeepers. Watch your inner voice go within. Find the reflection. Time and light, a solid, a solid fade. Refine the reflection. Find the reflections.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Prime Mentor Podcast. It's basically just a bit of a somber way to kick off the webcast today. Because, of course, as many of us may have heard, that there has been the unfortunate passing of David Wilcock. Okay? So if many of you are not aware of that, it may be quite a shocker to you. I actually did talk to David quite a few years ago, just very briefly over through Facebook message and all that. And we were talking over a dream that I had and all that sense about the Rothschilds and so forth. And then I would see him in a lecture a few years ago too when I went to LA at the same time. Let me just kind of bring down my microphone a bit. So it was quite a shocker. I was getting the news yesterday. I actually got it from Michael Salla. Michael Salla posted it on his Telegram and basically told everybody that David Wilcock has passed away. Now, there are people that are saying that this was a suicide or anything of that nature, and there's a big discussion with that, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about today. And so it really is just it's unfortunate that something like this has happened, and it's not just through David Wilcock. Nick Pope also passed away recently as well too. a lot of these UFO researchers are basically being, you could say, hunted down. This is not something that's by accident, right? This is a orchestration. And the reason I feel this is happening is because we are very much on the precipice of something very, very large about to happen. This goes back to what I was sharing together with what a journalist was sharing going back a couple of months ago, when a journalist was talking about a particular crop circle. And a crop circle looking to show this summer between the months of June and August, with the crop circle basically being like a type of demarcation, a lifting of a veil, where there is going to be a lot more focus surrounding extraterrestrial consciousness, extraterrestrial awareness. There's going to be a lot more discussions with that. Now, I feel like a lot of the old regimes are panicking over this, right? Because now they know that something very big is going to happen. And there's whistleblowers, of course, often through the UFO research community, that may also be getting very similar intel. And we'll be telling people this, is that not only are we going to be seeing that, but we're also looking to launch new forms of technology. New forms of technology that have been UFO backed, or I would say UFO backed, but extraterrestrial backed, that has been in the vaults for a very long time. But as I've said, how this works is that you have these agencies that go to institutions and give them blueprints and let them know, this is what we want you to create, right? And a lot of these things are magnificent inventions. But we haven't got to that particular point yet where we may start to see anti-gravity vehicles, or again, levitation technology, whatever you want to term it, where we're seeing something like TR-3Bs coming together. And so I feel like there has just been this gigantic takedown within the UFO community, within the ET presence community as well too, of these particular people who could be seen as whistleblowers that are being systematically taken down. Okay, and this is an effort specifically with a lot of other corporations that do not want this particular type of technology to be released, because if it does, well, it throws science on its head. It basically just throws everything pertaining to the old science that has been shoved down our throats for quite some time, to basically have all those old science books thrown out the window. If you're talking about anti-gravitational technology, if you're talking about levitation technology, if you're talking about technology that can enable teleportation, that is portal generation, we're looking at portal systems as well too. We're looking at different forms of energy, zero-point energy, and so forth. You have trillions of dollars of industries going bankrupt overnight, right? And unfortunately, a lot of those industries have those connections to the goons, right? So they basically send out their goon squads. And these goon squads will basically find these kind of advocates that represent the UFO community whistleblowers, and they will always try to find a way to make it seem like their death was an accident. I mean, they've been doing this for decades. This is nothing new. And so unfortunately, David Wilcock, Nick Pope, okay, two of these very popular people, again, they were both on Ancient Aliens as well. Like I said, I've known David Wilcock for a while. I haven't been able to talk to him face to face, but like I said, we had a little Facebook conversation a few years back. And like I said, I just saw one of his events when I was in LA, going back a few years as well too, 2017 I believe it was. So this is very unfortunate. And again, he was, I wasn't always 100% in agreement with a lot of the stuff that he said, right? A lot of the stuff that he has said, I think a lot of it is more wishful thinking. But there are some things that he said that I was agreeing with, and like, okay, yeah, there are some things that he's saying here that is quite true. But nonetheless, in regards to even if we have differences altogether, I love the guy. The guy was just a beacon of light, right? And so, I mean, I tune into him at times, and I'd hear him and how he's talking. I'm like, oh, God, David, just don't. Right? But I'd still love the guy, right? So I keep tuning into him and checking in to see how he's doing. And the last broadcast, I think, was 2 days before this report came out. I just looked at David on the camera. I was like, oh, he doesn't look good. He doesn't look good at all. It's almost looking like he's malnourished, right? It just doesn't feel like he was in that good of spirits, but I don't feel like he was at that level to basically, as you would say, take his own life. And that's what I do not think was happening. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to go too much into that investigation, but this is something that has been happening again as of late. Even since 2022, I believe there's a TikTok user that's also putting together a lot of the data about UFO researchers. I think about 12 to 13 of them have basically quote unquote disappeared and not really vanished, but basically have passed on, transitioned, okay? And this is going on for the past 4 years. There's quite a few of them that have been targeted. So, I think the person that really has the right frame of mind to protecting themselves would be someone like Stephen Greer, okay? He has what's known as a dead man's trigger. And that's exactly what you need to have. If you are very, very popular, like I'm not a popular guy on YouTube, guys. I barely get 150 or 200 of you per week when I'm on here. So I'm not Mr. Popular guy here. I'm kind of in the middle. But for the ones who are very popular, who get millions and millions of followers, again, like someone like Stephen Greer, he's doing it the right way, okay? You've got to have a dead man's trigger. Simple as that, because a lot of these popular UFO researchers have hundreds or perhaps even thousands of contacts. And with those particular types of contacts, you want to basically create a plan with them that if anything happens to me or my loved ones, people within my inner circle that are in any way being compromised, then we send out the dead man's trigger, right? And that could be a volley of documents, of media clips, of everything that would fundamentally expose these old elitists. And that is the last thing they want, right? It's it's not really difficult to, again, if you have connections, to basically get so much dirt on these particular people. And that if anything happens, there's basically a blitz, just a gigantic sending out of, thousands, hundreds of thousands of documents that are basically going out to these contacts, and these contacts are sending it out to other contacts, and it's like a virus in that sense that just goes out. And when that happens, these people are finished, right? But again, if a person plays their dead man trigger too early, then again, they can risk being compromised. So basically, like I said, Stephen Greer is the one who really has this together. I think he was the one who really has the proper mindset of having a dead man's trigger, right? And that is what I would suggest to a lot of popular UFO researchers. Right now, you guys need to put together a dead man's trigger, okay? Because we're about to go into something that is massive. We're about to see an immense change on this planet. It's as I've said too for 2026 that this is a volatile year. This is a year that is very, very vicious. It is just knocking down all of the walls of establishment. And the idea that establishment is acting this way is letting you know how much they're losing, right? But again, they're going to push things, my friends. They're going to push digital IDs. They're going to push biometric data. They're going to push everything on you, okay? Everything is going to be pushed on you, country to country to country to country. And that's supposed to happen because that's what brings about revolution, okay? There are going to be a lot of pushes. There's going to be a lot of intentions, bad intentions, for a lot of these old elitists, these old regime groups, these cabals that are doing absolutely, they don't have the cabals, simple as that. They really don't. But they're going to be pushing a lot of these agendas. And these agendas are happening because they don't realize that they are the ones that are actually creating the Great Awakening. They don't know this. They think they're the ones that are trying to prevent it when they're the ones that are actually creating it. I've said this many times, okay? Unfortunately, a lot of brave people, whistleblowers who have put their lives on the line, are basically going to be forgotten by many people because, again, what really gets a lot more of the attention are people who really don't do anything, right? I mean, if you really look at the internet, what's getting the most popular views on videos right now, right? Someone who can train their dog to do a backflip or what, or a new cola product or whatever it is. Okay? But the people who really put their lives on the line, who are helping to actually shape this society, are primarily forgotten. Right? And this is, like I said, this is not something that you think that they do it for fame. They don't. If you think what I've been doing has been based upon for fame, not even close. Right? I'm not in Hollywood. I'm not making movies. I'm not dabbling with the elites and stuff like that, nor would I want to. But that is not why we do these things. We do these things because we see something that represents a much more positive future. And that's the thing that David Wilcock would always talk about. And that's why I liked him a lot more than other people. He was much more positive than a lot of other people out there that just throw doom and gloom bullshit at the masses constantly. And, I do that. I work together with the positive approach, not because I'm trying to stay positive, but because that's where I actually see humanity going, right? There's only a few of us online, whether it's myself, and like I said, David was one of them as well too, and maybe a few others, that are actually trying to bear the light and actually hold this torch up and saying, guys, you need to stop freaking out all over this ridiculous doom and gloom bullshit, because you're being fed it. It's being thrown down your throat. It's being shoved down your throat constantly by a bunch of people who don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They don't even do their inner work. And they're basically going on podcasts and they're trying to freak all of you out, thinking that you're about to go into a dystopian society, thinking that you're going to go into totalitarianism. And that's a bunch of crap. But they don't know this. They just think that this is exactly what's going to happen. Oh my God, look at all the stuff that's happening. Yes, all the stuff that's happening is happening because you're watching a system break down. You're watching a system deteriorate. It is dying, just like civilizations prior to where we are right now. Is that they go into this particular state where there is so much extremes, and those extremes cause those civilizations to buckle, and they fall. It is almost like a transition time. And it's a transition time for this system. It will fall. It will die. It is not leading to long-term totalitarianism. It is not leading to a dystopian society. All of that is being put out on the table so that all of you can refuse it. Because we are much more in a much more of a clearer age right now, because everything's accessible, right? We're in kind of a convenience age where everything can be found out, everything can be discovered, everything's put on the table, everything's transparency, right? Doesn't mean we're in a society that's mature, far from it. But we're in a society that represents transparency, right? And you can find out anything you want pretty much about anybody. That's just the way we live now. And so again, I know David Wilcock was one of those guys who really brought about a very, very positive transformation. He wanted to see a world that was much more positive. He said, I've always seen a really positive future ahead for us. And that is rare to see. And that's why I've always loved and respected David. He was one of those guys who actually had a lot of love in his heart, who really cared for people, and you can see it in him, right? You can see it in him in the work that he did. And it's a big breath of fresh air from a bunch of the other bullshitters that are on the internet. Because there's a whole bunch of them that are a bunch of Class A bullshitters. Because all they do is just throw a bunch of fear porn all around the internet every single day. And they're just scaring people, and they say, oh my God, how do I save myself? Do you need money? Can you save me if I give you a bunch of money? Right? To buy their sleazy books that really lead nowhere, which is based probably just a bunch of AI-generated garbage. That's what the internet's full of, my friends. That's why probably about 50 to 60% of the internet is bots. People are getting sick of the crap on the internet. This is why there's such a decline. Even when I'm looking at a lot of my old stats, even a lot of my old videos, there used to be tens of thousands, 20,000, 30,000 people that would be watching those videos. And nowadays it averages maybe about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. A lot of people have left the internet. They've had enough. Said, I'm tired of this thing. This thing is not bringing the truth. 90 to 95% of it is a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of crap. I agree with you. It really is. But again, I'm here because I got to hold that torch, right? And I'm holding that torch because I see things very similar to how David did, right? And basically saying that there is a very positive future ahead. And guys, I'm not saying it's a positive future. It's a future that's inevitable. This is not going to be how we're going to be looking ahead for ourselves when we get into the early 2030s. We're going to be seeing a lot more transformation taking place. But in order for that to happen, we all need to come together. And this is exactly why these situations unfold that seem so vicious and horrifying and ugly and despicable and ridiculous. Unfortunately, all that garbage has to come out, right? It's basically like the collective mind just barfing up all of this sputum, and it's being plastered on a table. We don't like to look at it, but this is all the stuff that's happening. Because when you follow a lot of the tracing of a lot of this crap that's happening, you see corruption everywhere. You see people with hidden agendas being exposed all the time. This world, in regards to its human blueprint, is spoiled rotten. It is rotten, it is decayed, it is festering. Because a lot of these people that are in charge are not even human. Okay, the very top of the pyramid here is not even of a human being. Okay, it is a lot of these incomplete beings. It is jinn. It is archon. It is soul rebel. It is these residues left behind from other civilizations that have been around here for many thousands of years. And what they do is they basically have a lot of these rituals where they try to, again, it's very, very nasty at what they do, but they basically try to take over a body. And it's like a parasite. It's like a parasite just really taking over a body, and there's nothing there but just pure malice. There's nothing there but pure greed. It's everything that represents the festering sputum and despicableness of humanity that is contained inside such a being. And unfortunately, there's quite a lot of them, right? But like I said, they're being hunted down right now. A lot of these particular creatures, I don't even really call them creatures because they're not even complete things. It's not even accurate to refer to them as beings because they're not, right? They're residues, right? They're just sputums of residue left behind of malice release from civilizations that wanted to move into higher stage of what we would call ascension. To basically move out of this dimension and move into new realms and leaving all of their sputum and garbage and malice behind. That's what they did. They purged all of that, and that remained upon the surface. And that is really what manifested the idea of the beings called the jinn. Okay? The jinn are often referred to as smokeless fire. They're not even really a complete thing. They are a residue of something that remains. So, anyways, I could talk about that for quite some time. But again, just my love and my blessings to all the work that David Wilcock did over the years. My love and blessings to Nick Pope and to all of these other brave whistleblowers, not just them, but so many that have lost their lives over the decades so that we could go to where we're at right now. Because a lot of these particular pioneers gave up their lives, did the whistleblowing that needed to happen to really expose a lot of things. And it's created a movement. And this movement has gotten bigger. And now there's a much more larger mass of people who want the truth. That's what their work has done. What I would ask everybody to do right now is let's just take a moment of silence for all of these brave whistleblowers that have come and gone, who have helped us so much to get to where we are right now. Because the average person is now going to be that researcher. The average person is now going to be able to look at those things and educate others based upon the work that these brave men and women have done. Let's take a moment of silence right now, please. So, dear brothers and dear sisters that have come before us, I thank you so much for the presence, for you being here upon this planet, for you bringing forward all the knowledge that you needed to, for being brave despite all of the adversity that you went through. The dear souls of the brothers and sisters that have come before us, who have helped to set the stage to where we are right now, that have allowed us to come into this age of transparency. Your messages will never be lost in the heart of the consciousness of the collective of humanity. You have brought forward so much love and so much connection and unity consciousness. As people have united together with you, they have come behind you and supported you every step of the way. You have helped to shape the lives of many that are now here in this age of transparency, where the average person can now start to continue the work that you have all left. My unconditional love and appreciation to all of you, blessings to all of you, return to the Father in love, in peace, and in unity consciousness. Namaskar. We have to remember the people that have come before us. We have to remember all the deep, amazing work that they have all done to helping us get to this particular point. Without them, it would have been a lot more of a difficult ride to get to this point of transparency where we are at right now. This is a time for right now to shift out of the daily routine and just take a minute and just give love and thanks to everybody who has come before. All of them who have helped to lay the bricks out so that there's a new golden path to follow. So that there is something that can actually, we can follow, we can move forward, we can help to shift and continue through this age of transparency to review a lot of things that have been untrue. To now start moving together through that unity consciousness, because as I've always said, through tragedy comes unity. And so again, to the dear brothers and sisters that have come before us, your work will never be forgotten. You have done so much for the entire population of the planet. Through all of your work, you have made a transparent age come. And this is the age that is going to bring about a significant transformation, to bring about a whole new fruit, a whole new way of life, where everything becomes fruitful, where there's not going to be the idea of struggle and pain and fighting upon the planet. There is not going to be this separation consciousness that is dividing us all. Lies only have a very short lifespan. And when those lives are exposed, and they are exposed to the millions will never trust those liars again. And it's all thanks to a lot of the work of these brave men and women, brothers and sisters, that have worked diligently because they want to see humanity become better. They want to see humanity prosper. They want to see an age where there's humankind and then there's the star ancestors, and they come together. That is their intention. They do not spend so much time trying to sell material relating to bullshit, doom and gloom garbage that fills this internet like a plague. They had much more of a higher intelligence to themselves, where they saw humanity is aligning themselves to become living gods. And that's exactly where I see us going as well too. So again, you guys, just be mindful of the people that have come before you, that have laid out this groundwork, that have brought us to where we are right now. So thank you very much. Thank you for paying attention to this. I appreciate it. This was not, of course, on the agenda today, but with everything that happened pertaining with David Wilcock, Nick Pope, and again, many other UFO researchers who have laid down their lives to basically inform all of us that, again, we have never been alone. We always have a cosmic family. Cosmic family is working with us, but we have to set the stage to welcoming that family in. It's not going to be given to us. We have to build that stage. All right? Thank you, everybody. All right. Let's go ahead now. I'm going to be doing the tarot right now, okay? And this is where we're going to be looking at 2026, the second quarter. So I'm just going to adjust my microphone here a bit, Because again, this is where I was originally going to be starting this morning, but like I said, with a lot of that news, it needed to be brought out. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm going to do a tarot zodiac spread about this around the second quarter, between the second and maybe the early third quarter of 2026, and just a worldwide reading to see exactly what is coming through. So let me just take a moment here. So I put those intentions now into the cards, just saying let's take a look at mid-2026 right now to see exactly what is ahead for the world pertaining to the collective consciousness, what may be revealed here as we shift into the depths of 2026, the year of the fire horse, the year of revolution. All right, and I'll move my camera down here in a second once I get all this sorted out. All right, here we go. I'm going to try and lay it out a little bit easier here so everybody can see. Okay, let me try and put this on the camera properly. Okay, try and get some room. Okay, so this is for Aries. There, okay. So it's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and how we respond to everything, our reaction in the middle. All right. So again, guys, I apologize if it's not set up too well. Let me see if I can move the camera a little bit more. This way, that way. Yeah, more that way. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at the zodiac. So like I said, we're just looking to see how things are moving forward for the mid part of 2026, as we're moving kind of into the second quarter, but like I said, a little bit into the early third quarter as well too. So for the first house, which is Aries, Aries again represents the body. It can represent the head. It can represent the entirety of kind of like the forefront of where we are moving. This is the world. Okay, so with the world, this is telling me there's a whole new world ahead. But in order for us to get there, here's the seventh house, okay, representing that of Libra, which is what's being shown to the public. Okay, we are seeing these people having all of their money taken away from them. All of their resources are being taken away from them. Their bosses are being hunted down and destroyed. A lot of their installations are being completely and totally annihilated. This plague that has been on this planet for a very long time is being hunted down and annihilated. And this again is what this represents, is that there's this, we look at the aspecting. We look at the mirror reflections. Aries shows this, Libra shows that. Okay, so we're seeing that a new world is unfolding, but in order for a new world to come together, this old plague needs to go. And this is what's happening, is a lot of them are losing their contacts, they're losing their ability to get in touch with trying to bail themselves out. And so what they're doing is they're trying to implement new laws that will bring about more greed, right? So again, if we're bringing in the idea of digital identification, well, that opens up more surveillance technology, and more surveillance technology needs to be created, and new contracts get created, and more billions of dollars goes directly into that, right? They will always think of this in the ways of greed. They will always think of this in the ways of the billionaire or trillionaire mindset. They will rob people blind. They will print more money. And they will utilize that more money, and they will get people into inflation, where people can barely afford anything. And now they're printing out a bunch of money to try and further their cartels and their installations and their agendas. So this is exactly why they're being cut off here. That's exactly what the seventh house is. Seventh house shows the public eye, right? Yes, we can say partners and blah, 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 but Libra also works to keep everything in balance. Okay, it's always about trying to cut off things that are trying to keep things out of balance and bringing things back into balance. It's like I've talked about with the counterforces. Okay, so yes, a new world is ahead, and it is a world that is going to be shared not just with humanity, but with star ancestors as well too. That is a world that is looking to happen. But before that can happen, this filth, these parasites, need to be off the planet. They cannot stay. They gotta go. That's again like trying to make somebody healthy, but there's still parasites and viruses and harsh bacteria in their bodies. And thinking, well, we'll make this person, we'll have this person healthy. Well, they're not going to be able to be healthy until all that crap is out of them. And that's what's happening with the Earth. The Earth is doing her absolute best right now to get these parasites off the friggin' planet. And this is why we've had to have specialists that have come in. And again, this is what I've talked about pertaining to the star ancestors, right? Our ancient ancestors, to come in and basically lop off heads, because that's what's happening. This entire parasitic infection, where the Earth has never ever belonged to it, but it thinks it does, is basically getting completely and totally destroyed. And again, it has nothing but a bunch of misguided human puppets trying to orchestrate itself, right? Again, when you look at the whole cartels, you look at the whole big ladder of things, it's just people who have been completely manipulated, completely misguided. And that's why a lot of them have actually turned their back on a lot of these old cartels and cabals and said, forget, I'm not doing this anymore. This is sick. This is disgusting. All the things that they want us to do is not even human. There's nothing human or humane about what they are trying to do. They are the sickest of the sick. They are the most vile of the vile. They will utilize human beings as cattle. They are utilizing the earth as a resource. They have absolutely no compassion in any, I wouldn't even call them the soul that they even have. These are just parasitical organisms that are so one-dimensional that they just want conquest. That's what they're all about. And that's why they're being hunted down and destroyed. That's what's taking place right now here as we look at the transparency between the first and the seventh house. So we're going to see again a lot more of them being cut off at the past. And what are they going to do? They're going to try and use their connections in other countries to try to start wars. They're going to try and use their connections they have in other countries to try to enforce laws, to try and build something together so that they can continue their greed. They can continue their empires. But again, they're also being thwarted at every single turn. And as they're being thwarted every single turn, there's going to be nothing left for them to do. They will not have contacts. They will not have outreaches. These people, I'm going to call them people, these things are basically being nullified, are being completely cleared from the surface altogether. So this is what this is telling me. Now we go into the second house here, which is the Page of Cups. Okay, so that again represents Taurus. Now Taurus is always stuck in its way, but it also wants security and stability. Okay, it will often again govern through the idea of finances as well too. But when we look at the Page of Cups, this represents a young man who is again looking to the past. Okay, because again they're looking this way, and they see a surprise, right? So again, a fish coming out, and of course the fish can represent new thoughts, new ideas, new innovations, right? Fish basically represent a transformation of thought, a new idea, a new pattern is unfolding that has come from the past. So again, the page is always looking behind, right? So that's a very important thing when you're looking into the tarot, is if there's a person involved, which way are they facing, right? There's, again, the example of the King of Swords, where he's looking directly at you, which means that, again, he's not looking at the past or the future, but this is something that affects you presently, okay? Same thing with this, right? This greedy old miser here is, again, looking ahead, right? It's not looking left or right. This is the present. This is how things are actually being brought forward right now, okay? So those are very important factors. Also, when you're looking at the tarot, So again, he's looking at the past, and there's a surprise. There's something from the past that we have not seen that has brought about a pattern that is going to affect the present. So again, this is telling me that, again, if we're looking at Taurus with security, with stability, with money, with finances, with speech, with success in that particular way, there's going to be some new surprises. And again, I've talked about this before. It's really just revolving around a new financial system. Okay, a new financial system is attempting to get off the ground. However, it's being blocked here by the Three of Swords. Okay, and that represents heartbreak, and that represents Scorpio, which means there is a war to try to keep the fiat currency together, right? And even if they're utilizing other particular types of currencies, for example, Bitcoin, again, a lot of them are going to be losing their stakes. They're going to be losing a lot of stakes in that because everything in regards to the finances that they have available are being seized from them. Their bank accounts are being frozen. Everything in regards to their assets are being taken away from them. So again, there is this war pertaining to the idea of the battle between the fiat and the new currency. So the new currency is looking to come out, but again, there has been so many roadblocks and barriers in the way to actually replace the fiat currency system, right? And like I said, when you start seeing a lot more talk about, you could say, businesses, industries that are looking to forgive debt, and if that is becoming a lot more prominent, that's letting you know that we're actually becoming quite successful with that, right? You're actually going to see, it could also be statewide, province-wide, countrywide, where they're going to start doing a lot more debt forgiveness. So again, old loans are going to be paid off. Home loans are basically going to be forgiven in regards to excess debt. Okay, I'm not saying they're giving away homes, but everything in regards to the nature of debt is going to be expunged, and you know that that is going to take place when you're seeing a lot more of an outreach, a lot more of a massive degree of debt forgiveness that's coming together. When that happens on a much more larger scale, either it's province to province, state to state, country to country, that's indicating the fiat currency is on its last legs. That's a wonderful thing to see when we start seeing that. And that's not something you need to dig for. It's going to be something that's going to be a lot more apparent. Okay? So there is the idea of debt forgiveness. There is the idea of prosperity programs. There is the idea of a universal income. But like I said, a lot of these things are being headed off at the pass. They're being blocked. And a lot of these greedy old misers, the old regime, is basically putting these barricades into place. We don't want to give our money up to the people. Forget it. We want to control the money. We want to control the greed. We want to control the power. That's exactly what they're doing, right? So they're trying to, again, prevent any particular type of the money that is being seized from them to basically being rewashed and brought out into the public eye. So there's a very, very large force that's trying to keep that back, but at the same time, that large force is also being starved, right? This is why I say there's a block, and I've been seeing this block here for a couple of years, where, okay, there's this new financial system. It's ready to go. It's ready to move out. It's not just crypto. There's going to be new ideas. There's new innovations of these financial systems. I'm not talking about a quantum financial system, but I'm talking about these new systems that are coming in. Some of them could be gold-backed. Some of them could be cryptocurrency. But there's different ones that are coming together that's ready to roll out, but you have this in the way. And that's got to be cleansed. That's got to be cleared. So that's what's preventing this fiat currency from dying, is this war that's going on in between keeping debt alive and those who want to see debt dead. So that's the constant war that's fighting here. When we go to the third house, this is Gemini. Okay, Gemini is all about communication, creativity as well too. But there's strength here in regards to communication. This is telling me that this is leading to the power of the people. The people are going to use their voice. There's going to be a lot more organizations, and I feel that there could even be like maybe media that is really going to emphasize a lot more relating to the people's voice, right? So I feel like there may be media that will be coming together that is going to actually reflect the consciousness of the people's voice. So this is telling me like the feeling of the voice. The voice is going to be heard. Okay, and it's in its blueprint stage right now. So we're seeing this again with a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius can often represent good fortune, can represent new transformations unfolding as well too. So again, between Gemini and between Sagittarius here, we see something new being planted in the ground. The ability where people's voices can actually be heard, where the idea of what people are actually thinking and what people actually want is going to be heard by the masses. So that could be new media outlets, right? That could be, again, the replacement of mainstream media, right? Some people say, oh, Brad, it's social media. No, I think it's something much better than social media, because social media is garbage. So basically, I think it's something else that's going to bring about a larger media presence that is completely in alignment with where the people are. And I don't really see a lot of deception with that, but I see it as something that's kind of in the works. It's still kind of in the grassroots. So this may be telling us that something new in regards to how the people's voices are being heard is going to be projected out, broadcast out much more for people to hear. This could also be the sign of, like I said, revolution, right? People getting up on the streets and protesting, and like I said, creating these rallies, and again, just having these cities filled with that. We saw that happen in late 2025, early 2026, and my feeling is it's still continuing, but it's being blacked out by the internet, right? The internet does not want to show anything in regards to thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people coming upon streets and protesting, right? That is almost like a that's like a blackout immediately. Like you're probably even telling, like, YouTube and TikTok and all of them, do not show this. You will not show anything in regards to that, because that's it. It's kind of going back to that old phrase, the revolution will not be televised, right? But it's trying to, and maybe it still will. But that's what I'm seeing here. Now we go to the fourth house. Okay, that is Cancer. Okay, and we see the King of Swords. So the Cancer, again, I would say that it can also represent the state of the earth as well too, right? We can look at this as property, we can look at it as the mother, we can look at it as land, okay? But I could see it really as the earth. And the earth is building up her immune system, all right? She's ready to lop off some heads as well too. So this is my feeling of like the earth card. When the earth card, and especially when we're seeing here with the King of Swords, the King of Swords is the intellectual one. You can't fool this guy. This guy is able to see through you, right? His intellect is very strong. His ability to see through people is very strong. The earth is awakening, okay? And that is very powerful. And this is going to relay to the average person that they will know exactly when to call out BS when they see it. And they're not going to believe it. And this is why these politicians and these leaders are having the most difficult time, because nobody trusts them anymore. They are not going to put up with their BS anymore. And then we come to the 10th house, which is Capricorn. And this represents leadership. This represents government. Okay. This represents status. This represents kind of like the higher role. And it looks like there is going to be some new leadership here. But the leadership is coming from the people, not from an elected leader. So what is this saying here? It means the power is being brought back to the people. The people are the leaders. The people are the ones who will be deciding who is their own appointed voice piece. And that is what the nature of a leader is supposed to be. They are a voice piece, a representative of the people themselves. They do not have hidden agendas, because if they have hidden agendas, they will be pulled out of their role. This is telling me that this is setting everything up so that the people will have their say. And this goes back to what I was saying here as well too. A voice, okay? A voice of the people that is coming back together. Because the reading is what's going on for the people, for the collective consciousness of humanity here, as we get into the second and the beginning of the third quarter of 2026. People raising their voices, something new happening. There's a new underground thing. It's going to start being grassroots, where people are now going to start having their say. The fourth house here, again, representing the energy of the earth that also represents the people. And that is moving up into the 10th house, the new establishment, the idea of new governance, the idea of status. And that looks like it's going to be called towards the people. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to see. That's a very powerful message right there. Okay? We go into the 5th house now, and this represents Leo. Okay, so what does Leo represent? Leo represents voice as well, counsel, leadership, strength. Okay, and this is a feeling that people are about to start getting their power back. I feel like we're on the precipice of something very revealing that is like looking at a complete and total downfall and a cascade of a lot of this leadership circle around the entire planet. I feel like we're just about to see everything. It's like a sinkhole ready to plummet. It's like just looking at all this layer of dirt, and all of a sudden, it's like a sinkhole that just falls underneath. And every particular leader that's on top of that layer of dirt falls down a sinkhole. Okay, and that's kind of my feeling here, is that there is an implosion that is taking place in regards to the stability infrastructure of world leadership. And it is basically at a point to where it is going to collapse. So I think we're just looking at something that is such a tremendous established collapse, and that fits perfectly with where we are when it comes to 2026, the year of the fire horse, right? I mean, this is being very obvious here. Now, when we're looking at this, again, this is representing that you're reaching the goal. You're not quite there yet, but you're ahead, right? There's people in the distance there that are kind of cheering you on and saying, come on, you're almost there. You're almost there. Keep going, okay? So this is that strength, that new leadership that's coming together, which means this is something that's going to take a little bit more time, but it's just beyond the horizon. We're about to see some very powerful changes taking place in regards to what we call leadership here on the planet, country to country, okay? And now we have that aspecting together with Aquarius, okay? Aquarius, the 11th house, this represents gains quite commonly. This is a victory, right? So again, we're looking at the card of victory, the 6 of Wands. There's a celebration, there's a victory. It's like they've come home from battle. And now they've won the battle, right? You got those wands that represent actions. So again, this is telling me that something here is already unfolding, because we both have wands here. We got the 4 of Wands, which represents new structure. We got the 6 of Wands, which represents kind of celebration, victory, right? Responsibility achieved. So we're about to see something very, very large. And of course, Aquarius represents gains. The people are about to win something really big here. Isn't that going to be interesting? So I'm looking forward to seeing how that unfolds, how it plays out. Then we go to the 6th house. Okay, that is Virgo. Okay, so Virgo here is all about labors, all about work, hard work, dedication, devotion, deep diving as well too. Always wanting to know more about the truth. And it feels like this is the people that stay steadfast with the work that they have done. They are going to see the fruit of the rewards. So this also tells me this is a payday. Okay, so this is telling me that after all the hard work that's being done, there is going to be reaped rewards, because we're looking at a 9 of Pentacles. 9 represents endings. 9 represents culminations. You're stocking up for all the hard work that you have been doing, and you're about to receive a tremendous reward. You're enjoying the fruits of your labor, all the work that you do, and that is so appropriate for Virgo. Okay, Virgo is all about work, right? She's the hardworking virgin. And so she's stocking up everything that she has worked for, and we're about to see it pay off. Okay, and then we go and we see the aspecting here of Pisces, and through Pisces, this is the Queen of Cups. So what that represents is a new layer of maturity, okay? Learning to let go of the material side of things and starting to see how the fruits of your labor is actually helping humanity out. That it's not just the idea of a material reward. This is a deeper emotional reward. This is a spiritual reward. This is something that represents the evolution of your soul. This is a new maturity that's coming about. So again, everything that we're seeing here throughout the tarot zodiac here, the zodiac spread, is that yes, we're still seeing some fighting taking place. Yes, we're seeing some restrictions that are happening. But this is not going to last. This is going to be very, very temporary. And we have to see all this gross sputum being brought out on the table. And it's horrifying, it's disgusting to look at. And they're going to push, they're going to prod, they're going to do absolutely everything they can to try and feel like they're going to try and maintain this empire. My friends, they can't maintain an empire. There's no empire left. You're having nothing upon you by watching a bunch of stooges trying to talk to other stooges that are in government to try to enforce things that the people will never accept. And this is something that just playing a ridiculous old movie to watch it all collapse. Okay, and this goes into the 13th card here, which again we see the Ace of Swords. Okay, new thought, new beginning, new transformation. Okay, new ideas unfolding here. This is not going to be the way that we live ahead. This old world, in regards to how it is, pertaining to its corruption, its greed, its malice, is dying. It is going to completely fall away. Some people think, oh, you know, this world's coming to an end. I completely agree with you. The old world is coming to an end. It is dying a slow death. But then there's a new world that comes together. And that new world will be nothing like this old world of greed. It will be completely and totally something brand new that's actually being brought out of fairness, equality, unity consciousness, right? It's not going to be a perfect world, but it's a world that's moving us into something where humanity can actually start living rather than surviving. All right? So there you have it, everybody. There is the Tarot Zodiac for you. All right. So what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to take a very quick intermission break for about 2 minutes or so. And after 2 minutes, I'm going to be getting into questions, okay? So if you guys do have some donation-based questions that you want to ask, okay, just make sure it's one question per reading, okay? If you want healing work done as well too, just one request. I would say one request per person, not one request per reading. One request per person, okay? But again, we're just going to take a quick 2 to 2.5 minute intermission, and then we'll come right back, and then we're going to start with Q&A. Okay, guys? I'll see you in about 2 minutes.
You're the only one here, and you live through reflections. Assume how you choose to be, and feel living connections. Your thoughts arise. What you think becomes the real. Look past the triggers and see the true you reveal. There is only you. You are the center of everything. What you assume is who you are. Holy to perfection, release the gatekeepers. Watch your inner voice go within. Refine the reflection. Yeah, refine the reflection. Separation is an illusion. Nothing is ever random. Revise the unpreferred. The heart and mind's in tandem. Let the inner voice be your maker. Sculpting wishes fulfilled. Assume who you wish to be. Shape yourself with your true will. There is only you. You are the center of everything. What you assume is who you are. Hearted to perfection.
Okay, everybody, I'm back. So again, thank you for letting me have a bit of an intermission here. All right, we are now going to go ahead and get started with the Q&A. So again, guys, if you do have single questions, again, through donation, I'll be taking those. So let me just go ahead and pull up my other screen here. Just give me a sec. There we go. Okay, there we go. I got the chat going now. At least I think I do. Okay, there we go. Now it's ready. All right, so I'll be taking donation-based questions first. Okay, so just single questions per person. Okay, same with healing as well too. It can be single requests per person. Then if I have time, I'll get to the non-donation questions as well too. Because usually a lot of people donate. So I try to get through the list as quick as I can. So this one here is from Eve Mills. Hello, Eve. Welcome. Hi, Brad. Is EBS likely to happen this year? Okay, let me just grab my piece of paper here. I've talked quite a bit about that, but like I said, I'm just going to let the Akasha and the Tarot speak for itself. Okay, so you're talking about an EBS, which again, for others may not know what that is, Emergency Broadcast System Announcement. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here and see if there's an EBS coming for this year. Let's just kind of say if it's maybe international or country-based or anything of that nature. I'm kind of tuning into that. No, not that I'm feeling. But again, I'm going to look into tarot again as well. Okay, because everything really is just available as it needs to be. Because I'm just not seeing a need for that. But like I said, I'll show you guys the tarot as well too. I'm just asking the tarot. Are we looking at any particular type of emergency broadcast system announcement that could be countrywide or even international in that way that's happening this year? Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't seem likely either. Okay. Yeah, not that I'm seeing. Okay, so basically what we're getting here is the two of Pentacles altogether. It's kind of like just everything needs to happen as it is right now. An emergency broadcast system announcement really is something is if, for example, we have really plummeted down to the lower depths of hell where anything that we originally planned is not happening, then EBS would always be a fail-safe. But again, I'm not getting that, right? Because the whole idea is that everything is basically in the state of control as it needs to be. Everything is being played out as it needs to. And again, as we're seeing the idea of the cabals, right? We don't have any cabals. We're basically seeing them already plummeting, right? There's no real need to dish out this extra oomph, so to speak, pertaining to an EBS. Because this, it's as I said just previously with the tarot spread here, the zodiac, is that they're losing, my friends. They are losing by leaps and bounds. It's not they're jumping ahead by leaps and bounds. They're losing by leaps and bounds, right? Everything is being taken away from them, right? So they are struggling in ways that we can't even see, right? That's not going to be televised. But we are looking at the whole idea that all they're really trying to do is they're trying to hold a set piece up on media, trying to make it seem like everything's okay, but they're not. They are in horrible shape. It's like I said previously, I think just going back a week or two ago about that man behind the curtain, that the curtain's already dropped, and now you're seeing the man, and now he's like just trying to fumble for the door and try to get out so you can't see him, but you've already seen him, right? We've already seen the man behind the curtain. You don't need an EBS for that. I know a lot of people put so much hope in an EBS, and even if you do get an EBS, you're not going to get anything good. Okay? And like I said, they only use EBSs if there's a way to, if there's a need, because there's something that's plummeting that shouldn't be happening, and maybe they do that. I know a lot of people have talked about that, about emergency broadcast system announcements. And, sometimes in local areas, I have picked up, and sometimes in local areas that there's been EBSs, but it's nothing in regards to like a great reveal or anything. No, the great reveal is not going to come through an emergency broadcast system announcement, okay? The great revealing is coming through life, right? It's coming through everyday people. It's coming through us standing up. It's coming through us moving into unity consciousness. It's coming up through people that are working together. That's the big EBS, right? But even if there was an EBS, it's not going to satisfy anybody because they're basically BS things anyways. So again, we just have all of this hopium. We got to get out of this hopium, my friends. This whole hopium thing about emergency broadcast system announcement, or there are going to be ships that are going to fly over and there's going to be some type of ET communication or anything of that nature. I'm like, no, sorry guys, that's not how it's going to work. It's working through us. The people are the problem solvers. We underestimate the living crap out of ourselves. We don't know how powerful we are, but when we're pushed and shoved and bruised and got the bumps and got the lumps, believe us, we will stand up, and so many of us will take charge. And now, there's the EBS. The EBS is representing the power of human will and us coming together. And I don't care if they televise us or not, because we're standing up in countries and there's hundreds of thousands of us in the streets, right? Like I said, they're blacklisting all of that from social media, okay? But it's happening still because that plays an impact on the collective consciousness. Again, look at the energy that just one person has. Now multiply that by 1,000. Now multiply that by 10,000. Now multiply that by 100,000. Now multiply that by 1,000,000. They are all united in the same cause. Oh my God, that is going to completely break the dam. That is going to break down everything relating to this rule because people are starting to realize what their thoughts actually do. Right? It's like what I'm trying to teach you guys, even when I'm doing Prime Mentor, right? I'm teaching a person how to completely reset their life because we have the capability of doing that, just doing that through one person with another person helping them, because that's what I do with my life, right? I transform it, I shift it, I move it into something different, and boy, does it work. Works really, really good, and I want to teach this to you guys, but of course it takes effort, and it takes time, and that's why I'm doing this for a living, right? So again, when we start to realize how powerful our thoughts are, the last thing you need is an EBS, okay? You just need yourself, and the people start to wake up, and like I said, it does not matter if it's televised, if it's on social media, or if it's not. It's making an impact in the collective consciousness because a thought does not need to be televised. All right? Thank you, Eve. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, this one here is from Solstice. Welcome. Hi, Adronis. You've said the past is changeable, but how does that work in regards to our karma and the Akashic records? I feel like I've just been handed like a really big piece of candy here because this is this is a really good question to ask, Solstice, all right? And it's very exciting to answer this as well, too. Okay, so again, for those of you just tuning in, welcome. The question is here, Adronis has talked about that the past is changeable, but how does that work in regards to our karma and the Akashic records? Okay, here we go. You guys in for a treat. Here we go. Terra Soul Star Sirius Adronis. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I'm Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We thank you very much to the one known as Solstice, pertaining to your question about what we have shared previously. What we have shared previously relates to the idea of what is termed as changing your past. Well, here is the important thing. Let's say for a moment, Solstice, and everybody else that's tuning into us right now, we take away all of your memories. You have absolutely no memories within yourself. Where are you? And what's happened? You have no recollection whatsoever of there ever being a past. You have absolutely no recollection of history, because that's all the past is. It's a memory. It's a memory that represents a construction of thought that you have applied in behavioral patterns to yourself. It is a memory. A memory itself is nothing more than a thought that's being held onto. It's a gripped thought. But again, the memory itself can only work through the nature of construction and reconstruction. It is not like, as you would say, your video camera that is picking up an event and is able to play it back with that particular type of clarity. A memory is quite a fickle thing. A memory simply represents a reconstruction patterning of a thought held on to. So, why are we telling you this? Because that's what your past is. Your past is nothing more than thought that's being held onto, that is constantly being reconstructed because a behavioral pattern of identity has deemed it important. It has not deemed it as negative or positive, but it's been deemed as important. And everything that represents, as you would say, the mainframe of your life, the mainframe of your reality, is all based upon those patterns of those thoughts being held onto by many hands. It's like you look at thousands of hands, and all of these thoughts are being held onto because you are assuming them to be identity. You are assuming them to be behavioral patterns of importance that feel, well, this is my lifeblood, this is who I am. But it's not. As we stated, what would happen if we took away all your memories? You would not even know what the past is because you're just right here, right now. There is no such thing as the past. And the past is only that of memory. That is the history. That is reconstruction from your mind to giving you the impression of feeling that there is a past, but you've never experienced it. You've only ever experienced this moment. You may have heard this before through a lot of great teachers over the centuries. That there is no past, that there is no future. Those are all memories. Those are memories. Those are side effects that represent your need to bring about continuity of consciousness by holding on to memories. So, Adronis, you're saying that we can change the past. Yes, because all that involves is you changing the ideas of memories that you've held on to. Behavioral patterns that you feel are so important, that you've held on to. And that those memories, once they are looked at, and once they are neutralized by moving yourself into the substrata, no longer have a grip anymore. Which means the idea of the past, as you term it, relating to memory, can be completely and totally rewritten. That is not fantasy, that is not theory, and that is not belief. That is fact. Because the only thing that makes up your past is the memories you hold on to that represent the deep behavioral pattern nature of your identity that you feel you need. So what happens when we loosen all of that and we start changing one memory into another that actually starts becoming a lot more fruitful, that actually starts to become a lot more healing, that increases your wellness? What happens? Your body starts to change. Your mind starts to change. The way you see life starts to change. You start to realize that life itself is an elastic band. That life itself has plasticity. That everything pertaining to what we term as the past is completely and totally changeable. Do all of you know what a timeline actually is? Do any of you know what a timeline actually is? Because it's not what you think it is. It is nothing more than a collective behavioral pattern. It is nothing more than a collective memory engram, which means timelines can be shifted like this, 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 easily. As long as you are moving much more into the depths of the substrata, to where you are looking at everything as the observer, not as the involver. You cannot allow an addict to feel that they are going to get over a drug when they're still very much into it. It's still their fix. But what happens when the addict lets go of that drug? They no longer see that as their fix. What happens? Does that become their reality anymore? No, it doesn't. It has subsided. They have cleared it. They have changed. Now you ask, well, Adronis, what about karma? What is karma? Karma is actions and memories of your actions. Karma is not an absolute law. It is an effect. It is an effect of action. It is not even a cause, because actions don't relate to causes. They are effects based upon a cause. Here's something very important that you need to remember. The internal projects. The external reflects. Say that with us right now. The internal projects, the external reflects. Internal projects, external reflects. When you are looking at the nature of karma, this is ensued action, which means there is an intent behind the action. The action is an effect, not a cause. Karma is an effect. It is a reflection, not a cause. It is not a universal law, because the closest nature to the universal law would be a cause and an effect. Not the idea of just looking at karma representing action that relates to an effect that has been fueled by cause. So therefore, the questioning of that, what about karma? What about it? It doesn't have any say. It's nothing more than your own recorded action based upon an intent that you have decided to move forward with. Adronis, what about the Akashic records? What about them? What about the Akashic records? Do you think that it's going to all of a sudden put a gigantic hurdle, an under construction sign right in your way so that you can't move? The Akashic records doesn't work like that. The Akashic records are exactly as it says, Akashic records, which means they are holding memory, thoughts pertaining to all forms of life. It is a universal structure. It works together through the nature of keeping the records of everything that occurs through life. It is not a punishment factor. It's not a security guard working at your shopping mall that's telling you not to go any further. So why would you think that the Akashic records is going to get in the way of you shifting your memories? It's not. The Akashic records is non-linear and non-local in its nature. Do you see it as a policeman? Because it's not. A security guard? Because it's not. A guardian? No. There is no such thing pertaining to that with the records. The records are keeping a record of every single fiber, of every single atom, of every single strand of creation that exists. So where is there restriction with that, Solstice? There's no restriction with an Akashic record that's preventing you from shifting your memories. There is nothing in regards to your karma that would enable the ability to bring about a hurdle to prevent you from shifting your memories. This all comes from just misunderstanding what karma and the Akasha represent, because they are not shackles. They are a system. They represent a flow. The nature of karma is to look at your actions. It is the result of an effect that has come through a cause. The Akashic records is a universal library that contains the records of every single thing in all of creation. It is not a hurdle. Those two things do not apply in any shape, way, or form in regards to the obstruction of you moving into reassigning your memories to where you want them to be, if at all. So, you are able to fundamentally change the past because the past is nothing but memories. The past is the Akasha. And the Akasha is like a river. It flows, it streams, it's bendable, it's malleable. It is not a hard block to which you cannot remove. It is quite the opposite. So therefore, solstice, the universe is not so poorly designed. Because if karma and if the nature of the Akashic records are restricting your ability to shift your memories, you would be in such a chaotic universe that you simply would not survive even after a few mere seconds. That is not how the universe works. You have to understand balance. You have to understand the true nature of how the universe governs itself. And it is always through a set of scales that is always balanced. So we want you to look into that. But altogether, there is nothing stopping you from shaping your past other than your own beliefs to do it. We thank you very much. Okay. So there's the candy. There's the treat. So Solstice, that was a very good question. Thank you for that. But that's exactly what Adronis is saying. Okay, guys, you got to get this whole idea of thinking that karma is some big thing. It doesn't mean shit. Okay? It's actions. It's taking a look at your actions, because what you have done with your actions, you've portrayed something pertaining to that memory, trying to make it feel like it's some unbreakable thing, trying to make it feel like it's some hurdle. This is what I'm teaching you guys when you do a session with me. When you're doing a focus session, when you're doing a mentoring session, I am teaching you how to break down all of those illusionary behavioral patterns in the most simple way I can do, because with over 18 years of experience of doing this work, I know how to do it, right? If you guys are serious, then this is exactly why I charge for the sessions, because if I start giving away things for free, hardly any of you are going to take it seriously. None of you are going to see the value in it. So when I start charging for this, oh, this is valuable. This is something that I can actually put some energy into and start going away, leaving this session, learning something very valuable. That's why I charge, my friends, because that is why on this planet we work together with money in this way, because money in the current way that it exists represents an exchange of value. And there is value in the work that I do. And again, I would love to see you guys see anybody else who's doing the work that I'm doing. You guys show me somebody else who's doing this, who's helping you to work with the true laws of manifestation, to show you about the nature of prime law, to tell you that you're capable of changing the past, and who can actually demonstrate it, because I've demonstrated it many times. You guys show me somebody else who can do that, because there isn't anybody else. What I've discovered is something that I've had to pour through ancient connections to go through, what I've had to go into the Akasha to go through, what I've gone even through my own experiences to go through, and through working with the experiences of others to go through. You show me another person who does what I'll do, and I'll retire tomorrow. Okay? And I'll say, okay, fine, go see this guy. This guy knows how to completely work with you to reshape your past. And I'm not talking about the idea, oh, well, we're just going to visualize manifestation. No, that guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Because that is not about visualization. It is not about affirmation. If that's what so many people have been told that manifestation is, you are being lied to. You are only looking at a very small piece of the puzzle. So that's what everybody says, just visualize. Visualize to death, affirm to death, just know it's visualization. It's not visualization. That is not important. That is nothing more than a primer. That is nothing to get the ball, it's just to get the ball rolling. There's a lot more to it. Yes, it's feeling, but there's a lot more deeper natures of feeling that we have to go into. We have to go into the deeper layers of feeling. We have to work together so deeply with feeling that what you are actually bringing about to yourself is the truth. That's what it takes, and that's how I guide you and work with you through that. That's why I'm mentoring now. That's why I call myself the Prime Mentor, because we're working together with the highest law. The Prime Mentor is a mentor who works with the highest law. The living law, the prime law, quote unquote, the law itself. That's why I call myself the Prime Mentor. You guys show me anybody else who does my work just like that, I will retire tomorrow. Okay? There you go. There's my challenge for you. All right, let's go to Christo Princess 222. Can you do a body scan on me and tell me where to focus on treating? I have multiple pains, lumps, and don't know where to start. Your lymphatic system for one, your stomach for another, your spine for another. Nervous system needs a lot more work as well too. You also need to work a lot more on your gut health. Your joints are basically being polluted, so to speak, with a lot of lymphatic waste. So I said the number one area would be to work with your lymphatic system, okay? If you're looking at pains and lumps, then again, that's telling me you have very poor circulation in the body. The liver also needs some attention. So stomach, yes. Liver, yes. The gut, okay, so your intestines, your digestive system, the lymphatic system, most importantly, okay? Working with the spine as well too, working with your nervous system at the same time. So Crystal Princess, what I would suggest that you're working with is the 102 mineral smoothie, okay, for long-term alkalinity. So the 102 mineral smoothie, that's on my YouTube channel, right? You can find it there. It's a video. You look at it, the ingredients are there, the recipe is there. You're making this smoothie and you're having it every single morning on an empty stomach, okay? When you're working together with these other areas, you want to start working with pranayama, okay? Pranayama is oxygenating your body. It is leading circulation forward. With you, what I would suggest is that you're doing very deep breath work, okay? So 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. We call that the Rachaka Pranayama. Working together with alternate nostril breathing, okay? That is Anulam Vilom. We can call it Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, okay? Or just alternate nostril breathing. Another one that would be very good for you is working with the rapid abdominal movement, the rapid abdominal breath. We call that Kapalbhati, or the shining forehead. It's where your spine is nice and straight. Take a deep breath in, and then just focus on the exhale. Okay, do as many as you feel you can. Take a break for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then go back and do it again, okay? So going back and do about 3 repetitions, 3 sets of that, okay? The other one I would suggest would be the Bhastrika, okay, the bellows breath. That's again, we're going back here, spine nice and straight, bringing the hands up, the arms up, taking a deep breath in, and okay? And doing as many of those as you feel you can. Now, important when you're doing Bhastrika, okay, your spine is straight and you're just tucking in the abdominal muscles a little bit, okay? So doing things like the Rachaka Pranayama, the alternate nostril breathing, okay? Working together with the rapid abdominal breath, the Kapalbhati, and doing the Bhastrika, the bellows breath. You start putting that 3 sets each, maybe about a 5-6 minute break in between each one, with the exception of Rachaka Pranayama, because that one's very easy to do, okay? But the other 3, 5 or 6 minute breaks, do 3 sets per day. What that's doing is that's oxygenating your body. Your body is now getting not just oxygenation, but also prana. What you also may want to do is you want to look into something like infrared saunas. Infrared saunas are also very good for re-stimulating the circulation in your body. Above all, radiate. Okay? RAYD8. Now here's an update with Radiate as well too. Is the Radiate platform is being built, and it's going to be debuting here on the 28th of April. Okay? It is the Radiate Regen. Okay, Radiate Regen is debuting on its brand new website, okay? And then come at the end of May, there will be Radiate Amrita. Now this is going to be leading to the end of the mobile app. The reason being why the end of the mobile app is happening is I've been secretly paying out of pocket for a lot of the expenses for the people that have the Radiate mobile app, because it does cost money to use. So I'm building a much more effective system that's more fair for everybody, where we're actually going to be utilizing that brand new system that you can use on your mobile, you can use on your tablet, you can use on your laptop, you can use on your desktop computer, and you can use on your smart TV. Okay? All 5 are going to be part of the brand new Radiate platform, but the app is going to be retired. It is going to be retired at the end of May, which means you guys got 1 month left to utilize it. It has become extremely expensive, okay? And like I said, when I first developed this, I wasn't even aware of a lot of the expenses I had to pay with it, because that's why I was getting it for a $33 thing. And like I said, it's lasted 2 years, and I've had to put a lot of money out of my own pocket to keep it going, with very little money to compensate for that. So it has to stop. So I'm doing this in a fair way, where again, you guys are getting Radiate through the brand new platform, and it does not go through Google Play, and it does not go through the Apple Store. Okay, so it's not going to be available through that. It is going to be available through the one platform. And the one platform will be a website, which I will reveal when the 28th of April here happens. Okay, and that's the new Radiate website, and it's a platform. It's subscription based. It's monthly. Okay, there's a free account that you can do. There's a free trial account, and then there's going to be 2 paid accounts. Okay, so the one paid account is the Regen account. So the Radiate Regen app is going to be available through this platform that has never been revealed to the public before. Okay, what's been available to the public is the free version and the premium version. The Regen version is now going to be available for the public, so that's never happened before. So that's the brand new paid account that's coming. And then there's a second paid account that will include all of those 3, as well as the Amrita app, okay, and also the Sankalpa app, which is taking an inspiration from the EE systems and the light system technology. So we're utilizing a very similar interface with the Sankalpa app. Okay, that will be on the new platform as well. And then there's one called the Hamsa app as well too, which is just a beautiful inspirational looking app that again really just settles you down and gets you right into the alpha, theta, delta very quickly. So again, there's going to be a whole new platform coming with 3 different memberships. So there's still a free membership for people that want to utilize Radiate, okay, through the new platform, and there will be 2 paid ones. Okay, so that's coming April 28th, and Amrita, the Amrita plan with the other 3 apps, is coming May 28th. Okay, so that's going to be really exciting. But Crystal Princess, this is what I would suggest you work with too as well, is just work with the app in the meantime until the brand new website comes online. When the website comes online, it's, as I said, all of the devices that I just mentioned will have full, easy access to the new Radiate that's coming, okay, and it's monthly membership, okay. This is also going to be available for wellness centers and healing centers, okay. I'm going to have special plans put together for them to utilize all 6 Radiate versions. The free version, premium version, Regen, Amrita, Sankalpa, Hamsa. All 6 of them, okay? So Radiate is going through a big boom here. And again, a new platform that'll just make it easier, because a lot of people have come to me and said, Brad, I can't play the Radiate app on my phone. My phone can't do it. It'll play for like 5 minutes and then it'll collapse. It's because of the type of system that we were using back then. And there's a lot of people who could not use Radiate. And this is why another reason why I want to change it. Because through this platform, it's going to be universal. It will be available to all devices that can easily use it. If you have an old device, no problem. You can still use it as long as it's like a smartphone model. It's not like a flip phone or something like that. But as long as you have like that type of smartphone or iPhone model, you'll have no problem playing the new Radiate. Okay? So April 28th, that's when the new one's coming out. Believe me, I'll be making a message here on the website and through Radiate as well too, to let people know. Okay? So Crystal Princess, work on those areas as well too, where there's pains, where there's lumps. That is telling me that there is lymphatic issues. Okay? If there's bruising, then that's telling me that there's circulation problems. So please work with the areas that I mentioned for you. Okay? Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to we then. Are we on time here, guys? About 25 minutes? All right. Hi, Brad. Can you send some healing to my uncle, Wilfredo Don? Wilfredo, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Doctors cannot figure out his digestive system problem. I know. It's very common. A lot of doctors cannot figure out the digestive issue. Now, all I'm basically doing for your uncle is I'm just going to be sending him some charge. Okay, so I'm just basically working to extract a lot of debris out of the intestinal area. I'm not being, doctor scientific here. I'm basically working with this from an energy healer's perspective. Okay, so I'll pull out a lot of stuff that I can in his intestinal tracts, and then I'll be putting some charge in there. So working with his colon, working with his small intestine. I think also working with his nervous system would be good as well too. So yes, I will do that for him right now. Now, if anybody else wants to send healing energy to Uncle Wilfredo Don, more than welcome to as well. All right, here we go. Okay, so Weaven, I went ahead and worked on your uncle. Okay, there is a lot of denseness inside that area. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with infections. A lot of it has to do with bacterial overload. A lot of it has to do with inflammation. His intestines are pretty inflamed. Okay, so we're just working to clear a lot of that out of his body altogether. So again, guys, when you often come to me and say, Brad, what should I do? Number one, 102 mineral smoothie. Okay, so again, that is on my YouTube channel. Just look it up. Brad Johnson, 102. That's 102 mineral smoothie. Make that every single morning if you can. Okay, if you do not like the fishy taste, then you may want to look as an alternative to vegetable capsules, the 00 size. And make sure you're getting your moringa, you're getting your Irish sea moss, you're getting your bladderwrack. If you don't want to use Irish sea moss, then you can use kelp. Okay? And I know they're fishy, but like I said, there's a reason why we utilize them, because they are rich in trace minerals. Moringa is also rich in trace minerals. Now, what you could also do is you could look at another particular alternative. The name was just in my head now for a second. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, sorry, my brain's basically farted on that particular idea. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's kind of that black tarry substance that you get from the Himalayas. Okay, but the name's escaped me right now. I know exactly what it is, but I think like brain fart, the name's gone. But you can use that as well too. It's like a black tarry substance that you would get. I think it's in my kitchen, but I don't have time to run and get it. But that's another thing that you can use as well. Another thing you can use is Baja Gold sea salt. Okay, so work with the Baja Gold sea salt. Maybe somebody in the chat knows exactly what I'm talking about, that little black tar type substance that you get from the Himalayas, right? Shilajit. Yes. Oh my God. Sky Pixie, you're a savior. Thank you. Shilajit. That's it, right? I keep referring to it. Okay, it's Shilajit. No, not Shilajit. Shilajit. That's it. Shilajit. Yes, using Shilajit is extremely beneficial. Okay, that has tons of minerals in it. Okay. Yes, Shilajit. Yeah, everybody's got me on that now. Baja Gold sea salt is also very good. You can add just a little pinch to your smoothie as well too. It's good to add a little pinch to your meals as well. If you're making a soup, put a pinch of Baja Gold sea salt. Even if you're having the alkaline or the spring water, put a little bit of a pinch of the Baja Gold sea salt in there as well too. Okay, so all of these things, it's mineralizing your body for the long term. Now guys, what do we do for the short term? Right? We do breath work. Okay, we do pranayama. We go into the substrata. And we start working together in oxygenating and again bringing prana directly into the body. That is the short-term alkalinity. Okay, so keep working together with that, and you bring the combination of those two together. And usually, what I would say for a person who's doing alkaline is you have to give yourself 1 year. Okay, you got to give 1 year of alkaline. As I would love to say that you can recover very quickly. So for those people who are not too badly damaged with toxicity, that have light toxicity, I'd say probably about 3 to 4 months you'll be good. But a lot of the people that I work with, heavily toxic, heavily damaged bodies, okay? And we got to give it a year, okay? 1 year. And that's actually a lot quicker than a lot of these other people that are giving like things like with Ayurveda and so forth. They tell you that you have to basically be with them for about 3 years. I'm telling you just 1, right? So we can get it in 1/3 of the time. But that's the long-term alkaline. Short-term alkaline, daily pranayama. Helps you out so much. For those of you who have throat troubles, okay? Those of you who have issues with the thyroid, right? I have talked about the idea of iodine, okay? 1 drop of iodine, like in 8 ounces of water. Really good, okay? That helps. Another thing you want to do is get a neti pot, okay? So that is N-E-T-I. Okay, I'm just going to write that down in the chat here so you guys know what I'm talking about. Just look for my comment here. If I can spell it right. There we go. Neti pot. Okay, so you can get those on Amazon. They just look like a little teapot. Okay, but what you're doing is you're putting some warm water, like lukewarm water is good as well too, and a little bit of that pinch of the Baja Gold sea salt, just a small pinch. Okay, then you're leaning over a sink and you're plugging one nostril and you're dumping in the water, and it's going up one nostril and coming out the other. That completely cleanses your entire sinuses, because our sinuses are filled with mucus, and the reason why they're filled with mucus is because they are often inflamed. Okay, when we're looking at thyroid problems, it is quite common to find oral thrush as a culprit there. Often it's fungicide or chemicals contained inside the thyroid. The thyroid in that sense basically becomes contaminated with chemicals. And one of the best ways to get the chemicals out of the thyroid and out of your throat is to gurgle Baja Gold sea salt water. Okay, so just get like a small cup, put in a small sprinkle of the Baja Gold sea salt in like warm or lukewarm water, give it a bit of a stir, and then just start gurgling. You want to gurgle a few times. Okay, so you take a little bit of a sip. Oh, get your inner Chewbacca on, right? Oh, and hold it as long as you can, then spit it out. Okay, give yourself a minute, just wipe off any water that comes out of the mouth, and then do another gurgle. Okay, same thing, spit it out, wait a minute, do a 3rd gurgle, okay, and then spit it out. So we're doing a 2-step process here. Number 1 is with the neti pot, okay, both nostrils with the neti pot. Once you're done with the neti pot, you kind of want to sit over a sink or sit over the toilet, because you may actually have a little bit of leakage of water coming out, even after you wipe it clean. This has happened to me on many occasions. I've done my neti pot, and I think I'm good, and all of a sudden I go out and like water's pulling out my nose. Thankfully nobody sees me. But that happens, okay? Water can get trapped up here. So you're basically making sure you're just kind of hovering over the toilet. It's kind of like you're doing like a crouch, right? So you're kind of just crouching over the sink like this, and just making sure any excess water comes out. You can also do it over the toilet as well. Okay, so you make sure you do that, so you're not just having this spontaneous water go all over you. So make sure you do that with the neti pot. So step 1 is the neti pot. Step 2 is gurgling. Okay, so make sure you're doing 3 sets of gurgling. Just do the left and right nostril for the neti. Do 3 sets of gurgling. Okay, try to hold the gurgle as long as you can. So for some people, 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, etc. All of that's good. All of that Baja Gold sea salt through that gurgling is now basically working to dislodge a lot of that mucus and a lot of that inflammation around the thyroid, and specifically in the areas of the throat. Okay, so if you guys have a lot of throat trouble, Lord knows I've had throat trouble for years, right? Because I have a lot of this chemical, a lot of chemicals that I've eaten just as a kid as well too. That stays with you. That's the thing. All this garbage that we eat as kids and as teenagers, it stays in your body for like the rest of your life until you actually get it out. It's gross. But nonetheless, we got to do it. As a kid, I was eating very unhealthy. Like I said, I wasn't having my spiritual awakening until age 29. So, like I said, I had quite a few years with a lot of garbage eating and just still attempting to clean it out of the body. It's filthy. It's gross. It's chemical waste. It's not food. It's product, right? Never eat something that's called a product, guys. If anyone says, have you guys seen that McDonald's commercial where the owner is trying to eat like their new burger and he takes like a little bite and he hardly touches the meat at all? And everybody online just criticized the living crap out of him. Well, I unfortunately have an oral condition. Just the way he talks is like a friggin' mandroid, right? Not a real person at all. This is probably, maybe it's one of those jinn, I don't know. But this person just feels like a walking AI prophet or something of that nature. We want you to try our product. Your product, okay. That's what you call food? That's what the food's called, product at McDonald's? Okay, well, there you go. Even the owner of McDonald's doesn't want to touch their shitty product. So there you go. That tells you a lot about Mickey D's, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Okay. Okay, this one here is from Gail Bouncer. This is just a free one, but please interview Alabar Jones. He has evicted the demiurge and battled and destroyed many demons. He took them to court and won the case, and they won, and they were forced by Gaia, the sun's source energy, to remove. I'm sorry, Gail, but I don't believe that for 1 second. Okay? And like I said, I know a lot of people have a really good story. Can they demonstrate what they do? Like with me, guys, every single week, I demonstrate through the work I'm doing here with you. It's nice that they come up with a story. Guys, I can go right to you and say, you know what? I just went right up into the moon through astral consciousness and I found the Lord of the Jinn. Can you believe this? I found the Lord of the Jinn. You know what I did? I took him to court. No. Okay? I don't care. I don't care how pretty a story he has. Can he demonstrate his work? Can he demonstrate what he does? Because if he can't, I'm sorry, but I'm not really going to have any interest in interviewing a person who can't walk their talk. I don't give a shit about your story. Okay? You show me that you're actually doing something. You show me that you're actually working with people and you're teaching them how to manifest properly, and you're teaching them to realize that everything pertaining to the nature of the past that represents memory can be changed. And you show me exactly how it's done, because I know how it's done. That's what I look for. I don't care about a person's story. I don't give a shit. Right? If they are a so-called teacher, they go in here and they demonstrate what they do. And if you can't do that, don't waste my time. Because I demonstrate what I do. Right? So that's my prerequisite, Gail. They have to come to me and say, Brad, I'll do it. Great, do it. And then they do it, and it's, oh great, I'll have you on the show. But if you come up to me with a little pretty story, I've cleared away demons and I've evicted the demiurge, give me a fucking break. Right? Don't waste my time. Right? You either demonstrate what you do and don't fill people's heads with shit, and you demonstrate what you do. Sorry guys, but I'm going to be harsh with these people, because I've interviewed people on my channel in the past, and a lot of them are full of shit. Okay? So basically, this is why I'm being a lot more picky with it. You got to demonstrate. You got to show me. You got to walk your talk. that you're doing because I'm doing that every single week with my audience. Are you? Or are you just going to try and sell another fucking book? So that's where I'm coming from. Okay, I'm being a lot more stricter with the people that I interview. I like, you either show me the real deal of yourself or don't waste my time. I'm not going to let my audience have their time wasted with a bunch of merry-go-round circus hubbubaloo about taking a demiurge to court. Okay, I don't care about that stuff. Either you prove it and you demonstrate what you can do to help a person to liberate themselves. Otherwise, I have no interest in talking to you as a guest on my show. Okay? That's what it takes, right? So again, if you guys want to say, Brad, I got this guy, great. Does he demonstrate? Well, no. To hell with him. Does he demonstrate? Oh, yes, he does. Great. I want to talk to him. Let's bring him on. Let's see if he does this, because believe me, I will test them in the interview. Make no mistake about it. Been doing this long enough, and I can tell exactly when a person's selling snake oil. Unfortunately, guys, a lot of them sell snake oil, right? And I also want to kind of do this for your sake, guys, so you're not getting gypped by these people who have all these pretty stories, and they think they're hot shit, and they're nothing, right? It's like I say, guys, there's nothing special about me, but they just think they're cock of the walk. Give me a break, man. No. Sorry to say, but you got to demonstrate. You got to walk your talk with me, because that's what I look for. All right. Let's go to Medvedik. Again, sorry, man, I can't really pronounce your word. You got to tell me one day when your bride is pronounced this. Okay, great. Right now, I'm just calling him Medvedik. Okay. Can Adronis tell me the message from my dragon and what is his name? Can also tell me where he lives. Okay, you're asking too many questions here, guys. One single question per person. So how about we just say, can Adronis tell me the message from my dragon? Again, guys, I've mentioned that at the beginning of the program. Okay? Please, just one single question per person. If you want to explore more about your dragon, Medvedik, then what I would suggest is maybe do a session with me. Okay? And we can look a little bit more deeper into it. But we'll see if there's a message coming in from the dragon that you talk about. Okay? Otherwise, guys, we can't ask 10, 20, 30 questions because other people are waiting for questions. Not to mention when I'm going off on rants here as well, too. So, okay, one moment. Here we go. Here, and we thank you very much, Medvedik, as it is termed, for your question about your dragon. Now, here's the thing with your dragon. It is not appropriate to reveal the name of your dragon to a public audience. All right? That is not looking to happen here. What needs to happen more so is that you are receiving this personally. So here is a symbol that we can give you that represents the symbol of your dragon, that when you tune in, the name can be revealed. It may start off as a nickname at first and then graduate itself into its fuller name. What we ask you to visualize first is an inverted triangle. Directly below, you will see a point at the bottom area of the triangle that represents its apex. You are now taking two lines and bending them over to form a circle around the inverted triangle. So again, as you would say, kind of a type of torus field, where the field is stretching and just touching both tips of the inverted triangle and meeting at the top. All right? So the point there at the apex of the inverted triangle, and then like an orange peel, moving up into a circle to where part of those two lines interconnect with the two tips of the triangle that connect to form the semicircle together that looks like a strand from a torus field. So that is what you can visualize. So again, inverted triangle, a little dot at the top of its apex, and from that dot, a strand, two strands coming together, intersecting with the 2 points of the inverted triangle that therefore form a closure like a circle. And that is the symbol that you can utilize for your dragon. All right? Now, if that is too difficult for you to draw, we can give you this small vibration, but this small vibration is not the name of your dragon. All right? So just a small vibration here that is just helping you to interlock with your dragon's frequency. Now, your dragon in that sense, in fundamental nature, is basically between the silver, gray, and black vibrations. Okay? So with the silver, gray, and black, the black represents concealment because it is a dragon for you. The gray represents the haze in between, phasing between different dimensions to occupy and interact. The silver represents the higher pristine levels to moving you into deeper dimensions of your own psyche. So here is the vibration that we can give you now. Ra-tu. 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 All right? Ra-tu is the vibration, but this is not the name of your dragon. This is just an opening of a door to help move yourself into his domain. We thank you. Okay. So there was no message for you, Medvedik, okay, because that's not to be shared publicly. Your dragon is meant to be shared with you privately. So this is why I didn't want to reveal any message for you. This dragon is very private, okay? That is specifically for you. Doesn't mind if I give you some tips, but like I said, what happens pertaining to messages and between your dragon is between the two of you. So you have to learn to respect that, okay? So you can look back into that symbol that Adronis did his best to describe. And of course, Ratu. That's just the vibration again, not his name. All right? Thank you so much. So again, going into the substrata, seeing the symbol, or again, calling out the vibration. And it's very, very good to do this just before you go to sleep, okay? When you're feeling drowsy. When you're feeling drowsy, you're in bed, close your eyes, go into the substrata, okay? You're pretty much already there as you start to feel drowsy. And then either see the symbol created in your mind or use Ratu just before you doze off. And then I feel you'll have a good opportunity to meet with your dragon in dream time. Okay? Thank you. All right, let me just check and see if there's any more donation-based questions. Yeah, we do. Okay. So this is IMG300. Can Adronis comment on why eternal celebration is the true frequency of existence as said by the Bashar? Okay, so IMG300, here's a policy that I'm giving, okay? I am not going to answer other people's questions for them, okay? Donation-based or not. Adronis did not say that. Bashar said it. You have to go to Bashar and get his perspective. So again, guys, I have to draw the line because so many people have come to me over the years asking, well, Brad, this person said that. Why did they say that? I'm not going to be their spokesperson. Okay? I'm not going to be their messenger. That's not my job. If you are so curious, then I would suggest you find your best way to talk to them. Or what I would suggest is go into dream time and call upon a version of them so that they can give you that message. So it's the exact same thing. Just as I told with Medvedik about his dragon, IMG 300, what I would suggest is, and Bashar has said this many times, that you can go and talk to him in the dream plane. Okay? So you go into the dream plane, you think of Bashar, right? Maybe you see his symbol that's there. Maybe you see him. Maybe you see his face. And you're just tuning into Bashar, and you're tuning into him, and you're asking him that question. It is not my responsibility, and is not Adronis's responsibility to answer questions regarding to another being's perspective of life. Okay? That is not what I'm going to be doing. And because, again, I could probably get a contact with them, so that's not what it means at all, right? So I'm not going to do that. Okay? I know you donated in that sense, but like I said, maybe save your donation for another question that does not involve this. I am not going to answer Bashar's questions for him. I'm not going to answer other people's answers that you may have questions to. Okay, the best thing I can do is suggest that you go into the drowsy state, you call upon their consciousness, and through that, stay vivid, ask the question with that, and let it be. I'm sorry, guys, I cannot trespass on another person's answers. That is something sacred. Okay? We do not defile that. That is the idea, the answer of what a person gives and what they mean. That has to stay with them. Okay? I am not going to interpret that. So I have to kind of put my foot down with that because I've answered those kind of questions for years, even when I really should not have. Okay? That's stepping over a person's bounds, and I'm not going to do that. Okay? So that's where I'm coming from. Okay, let's go to Sarita Lama, 1369. Hi, Brad. Could you please scan my body? Any organ I need to focus on right now? Okay. So again, liver. Liver is what you need to focus on. Again, you need to work on increasing your circulation. Liver, nervous system. Okay. I would even say looking into the heart as well too. Now, the heart is not in bad shape or anything like that, but it'd be good to work with the heart. Okay. So, guys, if you're familiar with the white light breath, if you're familiar with, again, the solar plexus healing, I've talked about that before, okay, where you're putting the left hand here and right hand here. You can do it either way, really. It doesn't matter what hand you want to use. If you feel you're right-handed, you can use this as well, too, okay? Preferably, I'll use the left hand here and the right hand just touching the back of the neck, okay? Now, firstly, I want to get into the substrata. So as I go into the substrata, I'm taking a deep breath in then, and I'm filling the left hand with that prana as I'm breathing in, okay? And then as I exhale, I'm feeling that energy moving through the arm, out through the right hand, and into the spine. And I'm slowly breathing that energy through the spine as I exhale, going out the right hand, okay? What that does is that completely energizes your nervous system. That is beneficial for your spine, that is beneficial for your nervous system, that is beneficial for your circulation. So you can work together with the solar plexus healing. You can also work together with the white light breath, whichever you prefer. But if you're working with the white light breath, start with the liver first, okay? Then maybe go up to the heart, and then work with the solar plexus healing to work on energizing your nervous system, okay? Those would be the three that I'd suggest for you, okay? Thank you. Okay. And let's go to You're the Fire Horse. Andrew Bartzis would be a great guest for your show, but guys, I appreciate that. They have to demonstrate what they do. Okay, I know you guys have ideas. Have you seen them demonstrate what they do? Okay, if they demonstrate what they do and they are able to go in and work with a person and helping to liberate that person to know that they can change their past, that's the prerequisite. Okay, I pretty much know who you're talking about. Sorry, he doesn't really fit the bill. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm very, very picky about this. The type of people that I feel would fit the bill is a person I've already talked to, Forrest Knudsen. Okay, he demonstrates his stuff. He walks his talk. Maharishika. Okay, she is also a speaker on YouTube. She walks her talk. Okay, Shri M walks his talk. Okay, these are three people. One of them who I've already interviewed in the past, who are actually very legit and clean people. Forrest Knudsen, Maharishika, and Shri M. That's it. That's all I've really found. I'm aware of Andrew Bartzis. Sorry, but he doesn't qualify. All right? So again, guys, I'm not trying to be so picky here, but like I said, it's a person who walks their talk. And it's nothing against the person personally, but they don't qualify. Okay? And like I said, it's not just about a person who's reading records or being a historian or anything of that nature. What are you doing to help shift people out of what they think their past represents and shifting them into a new light? Because only three people I know actually know what I'm talking about. And it's those three people I've mentioned. Okay? That's about it. And I've already talked to Forrest. And Forrest is great. Forrest was my Kriya Yoga teacher. He's great. I have not been to Rishikesh to talk to Maharishika yet. Okay, I have not been to where Shri M is. Okay, but those three are good. They're really good people. They're very clean people. Okay, and that's a rare thing to see. And like I said, guys, this isn't so much about me just interviewing them. It's that when you actually see them, right, and they're actually walking their talk, they're actually doing this. They're coming from a place, and you can see it in their eyes that they hold the knowledge because they've helped a lot of people. Forrest has helped a lot of people. Maharishika has helped a lot of people. Shri M has helped a lot of people. They stand their ground. They do something very, very beautiful, right? What is the name? The other one. There is another guy as well too. Shri Vishwananda, Paramahansa Vishwananda. Paramahansa Vishwananda is also very good. Rupert Spira, really good. Okay, these are the guys and gals. Okay, so the ones that are this clean, that actually walk their talk, that are not trying to be armchair specialists when it comes to this work, who actually go in, who have actually started to clean out their past and are now teaching others to do it. That's who I look for. But I'm sorry, the Galactic Historian, I've looked into a lot of his stuff, he does not pass. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on. I think that's all we have for questions here. I did have one here from CC Love. I need a healing session now. I'm sorry, CC Love, that you need to be more specific. I cannot do a full body healing session on you. Okay? Especially not for that kind of money. Okay? That's a lot of work. So again, if you need a healing session now, you go to theprimementor.com, you order a regeneration session. Okay? And I'm more than happy to do that work for you because I go into your entire body and work with you. Not only that, I look into patterns that are coming up for you. Not only that, I work with a sentinel consciousness together with you. Okay? That is the full deal. Paying me £10, sorry, that's not going to cut it. That's good for maybe looking at one or two things. Okay? But I didn't even get what that is from you. So, sorry, man. It's not how it works. Just, again, single questions, single body area. It helps. If a person says, Brad, can you scan my body? All right, no problem. I can kind of talk to them and say, all right, so it's your nervous system, it's your stomach, it's your liver. I don't have a problem doing that too much. Okay? But if I'm working on somebody, it can't be a full body session because guess what, guys? I'm going to be up here about 30, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour working on this person while you're like, oh, come on, Brad, get finished. What's up? I'm going to hear the third degree from you guys. Okay? But we had a very long episode today. And again, I did it because I really wanted to, again, pay tribute to David Wilcock, to Nick Pope, to all of the great UFO researchers. And like I said, blessings to all of them for all the work that they have done. And thank you guys again for being here today. Again, just paying the tribute to all these great, wonderful men and women who have come before us, who have helped us to move into this transparent era. Because now that we're in transparency, the advantage is ours. It's not a cabal's. All right? Take care, everybody. Blessings to you all. See you all next week. Namaskar. May it be well with you. Bye for now.